You know what that sound means. It's final whistle time here on a beautiful Saturday, October 19th night, and on a cold, chilly night. We're here to warm your hearts with the great analysis. Well, and it's kind of a sad Saturday because, well, our team's lost. We'll get into our therapy session later. But you know what that means. Final whistle. The whistle is blown. We're going to take you around the association, talk about the Friday night games, talk about all the Saturday games. It was a wild ride, and I could not do this without my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, the Alabama Crimson Tide loving man, Jackson Johnson from the Jacksonian. As Jackson, how are you? Happy week 8. And rough day for us both, good buddy.
Yes, it was. It was indeed.
You holding up okay?
Oh, I'm morning okay. You nice Rough Rider.
Mm.
He's in the chat. What's up, man?
Well, at least you hold up better than I. What's up? At least you hold up better than I do, Jackson. Because I think I might have a few things to say. But, Jackson, there is a particular team that should not be talking any smack anymore because this team is currently 1-6 and they are a complete dump heap.
And it's
I'm looking at you, Florida State.
It's the first time in school history that they have lost to the Duke Blue Devils in all of college football.
Yes, sir. Which is kind of crazy. I didn't know that until I saw that yesterday, and I'm like, really? Duke's never beaten them? Which, how often have they played?
They've been playing each other since 1992.
Okay, so they play each other quite a bit. Okay.
Yeah, Florida State.
One of them things.
Yeah, Florida State joined the ACC in the 90s. So it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was one of them cross, like when they were in divisions that they just never really got scheduled, and then when they did, Florida State always beat them into the ground.
Well, I look at it this way: it's like I'm not sitting there getting all excited about Florida State Duke, but I mean it was Friday night, and it's, you know what? I'll watch this game. But for once, it wasn't, oh, this is an automatic win for Florida State. It's, I don't want to be watching this god awful, pitiful team. They're just pitiful.
Jackson, you want to know what makes this even more worse?
What's that?
They had 7 sacks and 4 turnovers. Florida State did, and 2 pick sixes.
God, that's pitiful.
That's Florida State's season in a nutshell, Jackson.
Yeah, completely pitiful.
And you know what, Jackson? You know, I brought this question up in my poll on my channel at Sports Talk with Austin, and I asked if Mike Norvell was on the hot seat after a 1-6 start, and 91% so far have said yes, and only 20% have said maybe, and nobody said no yet. And I ask you, Jackson, which I'm sure you voted, which I think everyone who voted, really appreciate it. Helps me get feedback. But Jackson, what do you think? Were you one of the 91% that said yes, or were you in the maybe category?
You know, I basically said yes in a way, but not so much because of him. But I think it's the coaching staff that's more on the hot seat. I mean, the buyouts could save his butt, but we've seen before it did not save Jimbo Fisher. So we're gonna wait and see what happens. But all I could say is what a great start to Manny Diaz's first year at Duke.
And I gotta say this too, Jackson. Mel Tucker had a big fat buyout. And Michigan State just bought him out too. So, and it's like Florida State. It's not like they don't have the money. Let's be honest, Jackson. They got the money coming out the yin yang. I'm sure it'll take a good chunk out, but they'll get it all back. Like Like, that's just what's going to happen. And the thing about it, too, is I'm not so much upset at Mike Norvell, like you said, but there has to be accountability taken. Jackson, this was a playoff team a year ago, and almost a team that should have gone to the playoffs. And then I get you don't get to reload your roster every year. You're not like Alabama, which we'll get to them in their roster because boy oh boy, have I got some things to say. But like when you're the Georgias, Alabamas, Texases, and Oklahomas, you could refill your roster and everything's a-okay. Florida State, they're just now getting back to that point where they're revitalizing their program. Because Jackson, there was a point period before Mike Norvell got there. You remember those years, Jackson, when they would be 3-9, 2-10? They were bad. And this is what this is kind of reminiscent of. Hey, Jackson, they're like a bad football team. And I don't even think you would be afraid to admit it either. And here's the thing, Jackson. I'm not saying
2024 Florida State is 2007 Notre Dame 2.0. That's how bad they are.
But see, here's the thing, though, Jackson. It would not surprise me if they go on the road next week and beat Miami. Would not surprise me because you know why? It's a rivalry game. And then Florida State fans will be like, "I told you what the two," and it's just, and it's one of them things that's like you're 1-6, like you shouldn't be talking. Like they're still bragging about Cal, Jackson. They're like, "Oh, we beat Cal. College game day went to Cal. We beat Cal."
Well, luckily for now, they haven't been quite noisy. Like they were noisy all off season. And how they were going to lead the ACC, and the ACC's nothing without them. The ACC will never survive without them. And well, you're 1-6, so you probably shouldn't be running your mouth anymore. It's like, oh my god, it's like.
And I will say this though, Jackson. On a more positive note, Duke, they're 6-1. They're going bowling. Manny Diaz has got this team playing football. And I know a lot of people criticize that hire in the offseason.
I did.
I don't know where you stood on it. I was already asked. I don't know where you stood on that totem pole, if you were against it, for it. I was kind of in the middle. I was like, let's see. He's going to Duke where there's no expectations. You go 7-5, 8-4, they're throwing a party in the street. Where when he was at Miami, 8 games wasn't going to cut it. Like, as we know. But Jackson, I'm sitting here looking at Duke. They've got a legit chance to go to the ACC title game. Like, legit. Their schedule stacks up where, and Rough Rider Return says I was against it. There was quite a few you all that were against it, which I understand. But he was a great defense coordinator at Penn State. James Franklin revitalized his career. Like, I think you even mentioned that the day he was hired, Jackson. You thought a lot of it was because James Franklin, revitalized his career and helped save it. Kind of like Nick Saban did with Kirby and all them guys. Revitalized it. But Duke's schedule lines up good, Jackson. They could go to the ACC title game. Like, their toughest game is Miami.
They got to get through SMU next week before we can have that discussion.
SMU and Miami are their 2 big roadblocks. But Jackson, SMU, like the team that we're about ready to get to, did beat them. Good job, Oregon. You want a cookie? Good job.
Bye-bye.
Go away.
Bye-bye, Oregon. How about Purdue? Like, Purdue, I think, honestly, Ryan Walters is Daryl Hazel 2.0. I mean, nobody's intimidated by going to West Lafayette like they were with Jeff Brom. I mean, I don't see Jeff Brom or Joe Taylor or Drew Brees coming back to Purdue anytime soon. I mean, I know it's Halloween, and I know Joe Taylor's been passed away for a few years. He's not coming out of the grave. There's not going to be a Joe Taylor zombie version being the head coach of Purdue. That's not happening. It's just not.
But I will say though, Jackson, Big 12 After Dark delivers once again on a Friday night. What a phenomenal
Yeah.
game! And,
Yes.
and Jackson, Mike Gundy rears his ugly head again. Jackson, me and you both went into this game with caution when we were doing our pick for this game on Picks and Analysis Wednesday. We were both like, Oklahoma State could win this game because Mike Gundy has been known to pull off some magic when everyone starts to doubt him. But Jackson, is it time to have the conversation that BYU might be the front runners for the Big 12? Are we ready to have that conversation?
I think it is. I think it. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I'm surprised nobody was having this conversation already. But there is one problem though. They're going to the bounce house next Saturday.
Oh boy, we'll get to the bounce house later on. But
that's true.
But Jackson, Mike Gundy finally listened to us and he used him some Ollie Gordon. Did you see the game Ollie Gordon had?
Yeah. I mean, they finally got him out at perfect timing.
And this was a good game all the way down to the very last end. And BYU, that great catch by that receiver. Oh my goodness. That's the catch of the year, I think. That was. Did you see the ending of that, Jackson?
Oh, yeah.
Where he put that ball at?
That was a fantastic finish by the BYU Cougars.
Exactly. And Rough Rider Return says, I was elated when BYU scored with 11 seconds. Even if you're not a fan of BYU or either team, and you're just unbiased, this was a phenomenal game.
Right.
Like Jackson, everyone was sad. Oh, no more Pac-12 After Dark, no more chaotic finishes. What are we ever going to do on a Friday night or Saturday? And then the Big 12 says, don't you worry. We'll take care of that for you right away. We brought BYU, Utah. We brought the heavy artillery. We're going to give you some classics.
There we go. The Book of Mormon all the way.
But it's just like, Jackson, it's like Big 12 After Dark. Like who would have ever thought I would be saying that, Big 12 After Dark? But I do got to ask, though, Jackson. I do got to ask, Jackson, is an Oklahoma State in danger of missing a bowl game? Or do they still got winnable games?
Nah, they'll probably still make a ball game, and they'll do enough to make bowl eligibility. And they'll probably win their bowl game, and then it's going to be, woo, Oklahoma State! And everybody's cheering for them. It's like, you got to earn that first. You got to earn it.
And then Jackson will hear about how Oklahoma State will be a contender in the Big 12 again. Oh, shaking my head. But I do got to say, though, Jackson, this was a fun, classic game. But what concerns me, though, Jackson, and yes, as you show, oh gosh, please refer to Oklahoma State as Oklahoma A&M.
Oh, like
okay, Jackson,
school. Like 1945.
Yeah, school me on that.
Well, they used to be called Oklahoma A&M. This was like way before our grandparents' time. But then they changed their name to Oklahoma State.
Okay, I got you. I was like, Oklahoma A&M?
Yeah, it was
but yeah, great win by BYU. No. Great win by BYU.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just... Which, let me see. They changed their name. They changed the university from Oklahoma A&M to Oklahoma State in 1957. Back then, Gunsmoke was #1 television show. But
only you would know that, Jackson. Only you would know that.
Well, I mean, there's plenty more stuff. I mean, like I believe 12 Angry Men was out in theaters. I mean, that was a nice movie to go to with Henry Fonda and Lee J. Cobb. But anyway, yeah, Virginia Tech laid a historic ass whooping on Boston College on Thursday night, which I
We
mean,
called it.
yep. So
What
that would
we
be that was not surprising in the least.
nope. I'm not even gonna act shocked. Like, oh my gosh, you beat Boston College. Virginia Tech's gonna come back and win the ACC, Jackson. No, like
Oh,
we all knew that was coming. Like Thursday night, solo stage, sold out crowd. We knew that was coming.
who's
Get
spreading
out
that
of
horse?
here.
Who's spreading all that horse dung?
Jackson, if anybody is saying Virginia Tech's gonna come back and win the ACC, they I might need to sit down and talk with them and want to know, well, what exactly
Feels like
did
a
you get hit in the
South.
head one too many times?
I think it feels like a South Park episode, to be honest. But we'll start a little. We'll do a little something different this time around. We'll kind of lead up to the top 25 games. Here's something that happened. Billy Napier realized, oh, my ass is on fire. My ass is on fire. I gotta lead
Yeah.
Florida to a dominant victory against Kentucky and get them to end a 3-year losing streak. Oh ha ha! You beat Kentucky in Gainesville. Oh my God, you beat them in Gainesville, and everybody's all happy and giving the freaking group hug, and the sitcom people are clapping, and there's like tears of joy, and they're yeah, really, yeah, I'm not that impressed. Like this isn't Bear Bryant, Kentucky. All right, it's
Uh,
not. This is not Bear Bryant's version of Kentucky, and this is not 2018 or 2021 Kentucky. Kentucky never had a shot in the playoffs.
what the heck? Oh my
Who
gosh.
who smoked that
That's
crap?
Tom.
Like what were like who is saying that crap? Somebody that was like smoking meth? Like, oh my God. Like oh
Jackson,
God.
I gotta say, DJ Lagway, pretty solid. I like him. Florida State might have found their quarterback of the future.
Well, I mean, I think not I think it's good timing right there. But we are gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out see which games Florida wins after Kentucky, because that's gonna be the key right there. Because they got a scary, scary, scary,
So
scary November.
see, here's the thing though, Jackson. It's not as scary as it's perceived. Ole Miss, they've been proven they can be beat.
True.
Texas, they have weaknesses. Georgia almost lost to Kentucky, and Florida State, they're dung heap. It's not as scary as we originally thought.
Oh yeah, Florida State's a stinking shit heap. I mean, they're gonna be on the freaking CW, or they're gonna be on. I mean, they're
Oh
gonna be on
gosh.
Disney Plus. Like they're gonna be on freaking Disney
Oh my God.
Plus. They're that bad. They're gonna be like, oh well, we're not gonna. We don't know what we want to put on Disney Plus. You know what? Let's put Florida State. That'll get people watching Disney Plus. Yeah, no,
Jackson,
no.
can you can you imagine the bidding war? They'll be like, "Who wants Alabama Auburn? You want it, ESPN? Do you want it? Who wants it?" And then they're like, "Who wants Florida State, Florida? Oh no, I don't want it. You can have it. No, you can have it." And the CW's like, "We'll take it. It'll be great for our brand."
Oh yeah, CW will love it. I mean, it's like, what was that show that they air? One Tree Hill? Is that what they air, man?
I believe so. I haven't watched a CW in forever.
Okay, chat. What's on the CW? Because I'm kind of a moron about this. Yeah, it's like
I am too, Jackson.
like well, whatever
I only want.
rerun show that's gonna be on CW, Florida State will be on afterwards. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, Jackson. I don't know.
That's
I'm telling
funny.
you, Jackson. But I will say though, before we move past it, is there a chance, Jackson, Mark Stoops in Kentucky misses a bowl game too?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's look at the schedule, shall we? Let me see. Oh, they got
Like they're in
Auburn coming
serious
to their
jeopardy.
backyard next week. They got to go
Oh
to
gosh.
Texas. They got Murray State coming over. They got to go to
Okay, that's
Texas
a
the
cinch.
week before rivalry week. And on rivalry week, they got Louisville coming to their backyard, which, oh my God. Like, Kentucky,
Jackson,
like if
they might
Kentucky
be.
beats Louisville, they're gonna be like scooting their asses in celebration. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we beat Louisville, we beat Louisville." It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, good for you, good for you.
Yeah, Jackson, there's a legit chance Kentucky might miss a bowl game. And then the talks about Mark Stoops about how maybe we should fire him or yada yada yada. And then Jackson will hear a big announcement. Oh, we're giving Mark Stoops a vote of confidence for 2025.
Mm, it's pitiful. But
Pitiful. But
Michigan State, how about them? And Iowa,
well, Jackson,
what is up with Iowa? Like, what's the deal with them? I mean, it's like, oh yeah, they score 40 points, but they get blasted with a freaking rifle of footballs by Michigan State. They just get rifled by them.
see, here's the thing, Jackson. Now that Iowa has a competent offense, their defense
God.
has given up a little bit, it seems like. Because Jackson, I don't know if they've like just relaxed and been like, Shh, we have an offense now. We don't have to worry. Because you remember, Jackson, last year when I was winning these 13-10 type games, and we were fussing about their offense, but their defense was excellent. One of the best in the Big Ten and even in the country. Now, Jackson, it's like their defense is subpar, but their offense is looking good. Like they look competent at times. Like, oh, Iowa's got an offense. We can't no longer just sit back. We just can't no longer load the box on them and say we're going to stop you running. Then what else do you got? Because they have had some games where Cade McNamara's got the passing game going, and they've looked all right. But giving up 32 points to a bad Michigan State team, ay, ay, ay.
I mean, this isn't a Mark D'Antonio Michigan State team. This is a rebuilding Jonathan Smith Michigan State team. And, that's going to have me really thinking about the Michigan State rivalry next week. Are we going to see Michigan State beat Michigan again? Because let's not forget, and, I'll bring it up again when we do the Pits and Analysis show. But do you know of the last first-year head coach at Michigan to lead Michigan to victory in his first year against Michigan State, Austin?
Hold on. Let me go through the list. Harbaugh didn't do it.
No.
Was it? Wasn't Rich Rod?
No.
Oh, how far back do I need to go? Harbaugh, Rich Rod. Just go on and tell me, Jackson.
It was Benny Osterbein from 1948. And that year, Michigan won
Yeah,
it all.
I wouldn't have known that. But see, Jackson, I'm more good for the X's and O's and looking at things and breaking it down. You're good for the history. Makes us a perfect team.
Thank
You're the
you.
history guy. I'm the X's and O. I can identify things. But anyway, I do got to say this, though, Jackson. Obviously, for Michigan State, they're 4-3. Is there a path to bowl eligibility for them in Jonathan Smith's first year? They just need 2 wins now. Is their
Well,
schedule going to line up where they can get it?
well, they got Michigan. They got to go to Michigan next week, and they got Indiana coming over on November 2nd. They got to go to
The old
Illinois on
brass
November
platoon.
16th. They got a Friday game on November 22nd against Purdue. So that'll be easy. And on rivalry week, they got Rutgers.
Maybe I could. In Jackson, that's manageable. I could see 2 more wins in there to get them to 6-6, and Jonathan Smith get to a bowl game. I could see it. It could work.
Yeah, it's like I don't think anybody on rivalry week's gonna be sitting there going, "Oh yeah, we'll watch Michigan State Rutgers on rivalry week." It's like,
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
only sickos will do that. Which, who are we kidding? We're a bunch of sickos. Of course, we're gonna watch Michigan State Rutgers, and I love it. I freaking love it.
Yes, we are, Jackson. We'll sit there and watch every dying last second of it. If it goes into triple overtime, we'll be there.
Osterbein, did you win national title with Michigan? Yes, he did. He won the 1948 national championship with Michigan. Yep. Vandy won, of course. I think I called
Well, Jackson,
Georgia.
that's good for that's good for you. Makes your loss look a little better.
True. I think I called this one Georgia Southern over James Madison. I said this was going to happen, but I didn't think it would be this big a victory where they were shutting out James Madison.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this much on Wednesday or not.
We only talked about it for about like 20 seconds.
And Dave
No, they
Valencia
don't
says,
play
doesn't
Penn State at all this year.
That's right, because of the protected schedules. They took that away.
Penn State is basically unrivaled, which I don't think I'd be bragging about that if I were them, but that's just me. I mean,
well, Jackson,
Penn
because
State never
the
meant
origin.
let's put it that way.
Well, the origin story I've heard, Jackson, real quick on a side quest, is that neither team had anybody to play on rivalry week, so the Big Ten's like, here, we'll just put you 2 together. And they played ever since, and then with the new realignment, they did the protected and unprotected games. And
Yep.
Michigan State, Penn State is unprotected.
Yep.
And Dave Valencia says, I've always wanted pets.
Oh, Jesus. Texas Tech is looking like a fraud. They were looking like a fraud.
Jackson, remind me again not to pick them, because I thought this was a cinch. I'm like, Dave Aranda's already out the door. There's nothing he can do really to save his job. And then they put up almost 60 points. Like, what the? Jackson, explain this to me, Jackson. Is Dave Aranda Billy Napier? Like, oh, my seat's getting super, super hot. Let me try to put on some style points.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, he is.
Oh, my gosh. Jackson, you called it. I'll give you all credit. You called Texas Tech a pretender from day one. I'm gonna believe you when you say these things, because golly, I was starting to think maybe it was just a bad start to the year. Gosh, their defense is bad.
Oh, yeah. It's not looking good. I mean, they're obviously making a bowl game, but they're not going to be winning the Big 12. I mean, this is not a Big 12 contender. And remember, week 8 is where we're separating the pretenders from the contenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the conferences are sorting themselves out. But yeah, Jackson, now Baylor's going to go on a big winning streak, and then they're going to say, "Oh, we playing hard for Dave Aranda. We want him back for next year. We love Dave Aranda."
They didn't. You want to thaw him out like a worn-out condom.
Like Jackson, I feel like for these lower tier teams, and it's like these teams are just like they get these bad starts, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to play good, or else our coach is going to kick the bucket." Like Florida, Baylor, and now, and it's like, why didn't y'all play this good to begin with? Like seriously,
Exactly.
Minnesota. Like Minnesota looked a little rocky, and now they're winning some games, trying to save PJ Flex boat before it gets sunk in half. Like, what the heck? Like, do
Oh,
your
yeah.
job to begin with, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Go ahead, Jackson.
Austin,
Good.
there's one team in the Big 12 you love quite a lot. They're your favorite. You're gonna
Oh,
love it.
yes.
They put a
Oh,
cannibal
yes.
pass on Arizona. What they do? Boom! They got revenge, 34-7.
That's right, Jackson. And you know what this means? They're one win away from bowl eligibility. That means
Oh
prime
yeah.
time could be going bowling. And their hopes for the Big 12 title are very much intact.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Could you imagine, Jackson? Just picture this, Jackson. Picture this. Colorado, Iowa State for the Big 12. AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, the lights are on. See Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter all in the lights and Shador. Oh my. I mean, we need that to happen. I mean, Jerry Jones in the stands welcoming Deion back home. I mean, it'd be beautiful, Jackson. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah. Well, the one problem so far is there's no BYU or Iowa State on their schedule. So that
Well,
is the
Jackson, which you which I believe Iowa State BYU play one another, right? In the regular season?
Iowa State, BYU do not play one another in the regular season.
Okay. I I don't know why I thought they did. Okay, so they need them to lose, which is very well possible, but and Dave Lindsay says I think PJ gets too much crap, but then again, you can't say shit about Minnesota. Only I can say crap about Minnesota. Pardon my language, YouTube.
Uh,
And he says it's a joke, guys.
I've rubbed off on him a
Minnesotians
little too
don't.
much. I've created my you kid. I'll just
Minnesotans don't like it when other people from outside Minnesota talk bad about their sports teams. I've noticed that. Haven't you, Jackson? If you're not from Minnesota, they kind of get on you.
yeah, I want to see the Timberwolves make some history for the NBA. That would be pretty cool. And I actually kind of would like, and don't tell our friends from Michigan at the Voice of College Football this, but kind of would like to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl every now and again.
And Troy V says, I always picture PJ's boat to be that boat from the.
Uh-oh.
You know what?
Well,
You
I'll
know
tell
what?
you this.
You know what, Jackson? Not to cut you off, but Jackson, that's what his boat basically is right now. Like it starts to leak, and then PJ Flex like, oh, let me get a top 15 win. Let me fix it real fast.
Oh, yeah. But you know who had a really, really, really bad day today, especially in the fourth quarter? And we thought this team would be a winner. I mean, I didn't even watch this game honestly, but I heard about it and I was like, my God, we know some friends at USC that are not too happy about this one. USC Maryland.
Well, Jackson, I think we could safely say Mike Loxley might have bought himself another year with this win.
I mean, he already has 2025 waiting for him. We're just gonna wait and see whether he's got 2026 waiting for him. I mean, Maryland, they're so topsy turvy. I mean, they're getting their butt
Mhm.
handed to them by Northwestern, 37-10, and then next week they're making a comeback against USC, and that's a good question from Troy V. Will we see USC get to a bowl game? Oh man,
And
they
Dave
are
Lindsay,
kind of quiet now. I mean, it's just they're 3-4. I mean, they lost to Michigan in tight fashion, Minnesota, Penn State, now Maryland tight fashion. Like, oof. I
So
mean, oh my God,
let me
USC.
ask you this, Jackson.
What's that?
So let me ask you this, Jackson. Does USC play Ohio State or Oregon or Penn State? Well, not Penn State. They played Penn State
They
last week.
play
Get it together,
Washington,
Josh.
Nebraska, UCLA in Big Ten play after they play Rutgers next Friday. Um,
And then
yeah,
they got Notre Dame, of course.
Notre
Yeah,
Dame.
that's a good point, Troy.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Troy V. Oh, Jackson, if they don't play any better, it could get ugly real quick.
I'm honestly wondering if there's going to be that conversation about Lincoln Riley. I mean, I don't want to have it, but it's good God. It's like you're
And
losing
Troy
to
V says this
freaking
law.
Maryland. You're blowing it against them.
And Troy V says this loss changed my mind on USC. Used to think maybe we're a 7-8 win team, lose to Maryland, you can lose to anyone. Well, I think we all had the perception after they beat LSU. We thought, okay, maybe SC's better than we thought. Life after Caleb Williams is going to be all right. 8-win seasons, get to a nice Holiday Bowl or get to a nice mid-major bowl, kind of that thing, and then they go on this losing streak. Like Jackson, I wonder if they let the LSU win go to their head.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like how Georgia went to Alabama's head. Yeah, I mean, like Jeffrey and I were talking about it on the Alabama postgame show today, where he says he's not really too crazy about the big games being on week one because it kind of overinflates the egos of some teams. Could we say that about USC? Absolutely, it did. Because we heard a
And
few noisy people just saying, "Oh well, USC's automatically better than LSU." Well, USC's gonna be fantastic in all college football. They're gonna win the Natty. This, that, and the other.
and Jackson, I want to bring up this point. It was a call-in show from on the Voice of College Football for Mark Rogers and the host of the USC Live show, Tim Prangley, when they actually discussed that game. And Mark Rogers even said LSU USC played to a standstill. He was like, they were very comparable. But Tim believed that USC was the better team. Yeah, they may have won the game, but here's my thing, Jackson. Let me bring you in on that real quick, and then my thing is, Jackson, you can play someone to a standstill and win the game, but that didn't make you the better team. I agree with what Mark's saying. If you like today, Alabama, Tennessee played to a standstill. It was pretty even. I would say Alabama's slightly the better team. Even though they lost, I still think they're slightly the better team talent-wise. But Tennessee won the game, which we'll get to that here in a minute. And I get what Tim's saying. They won the game, and that should count for something. It did. You won the game. You got a big-time win. But then what do you do to follow it up to validate it? You can't beat nobody. And then I get the Penn State, the two PI calls, the refs are out to get them. I understand that. And trust me, I know about the refs out to get you. Oh, boy. You wait till I get to my game. I'm going to have some choice words. And I'm sure Jackson will too. But it's just like you got to be able to back it up. You got to be able to say, we are the better team. Look at our resume since that game. LSU's the one making them look like fools, Jackson, because they're 6-1. And we'll get to them in a minute. Spoiler alert for anyone that didn't watch the game. But LSU's looking like the better team. There we go. But yeah.
Washington State had a great day against Hawaii today, but I mean, it's Hawaii.
It's Hawaii.
But yes, Kansas rebound.
Kansas won, Jackson. Yeah. Jackson, celebrate. Get the champagne, get the confetti.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like Jackson's so happy. NC State. Oh, come on, Cal. Really? You had to let me down? Now I won't ever hear Jackson shut up.
Told you Cal's
It-
pitiful.
It's okay, Jackson. I love you anyway.
Oh, too, man, you're a good buddy, man. It's like you're like a brother, man. No doubt about it. Somebody had a
And Troy
worse.
V says, real quick, good buddy, not to cut you off, catch up on these comments real fast. Troy V says, when they lost to Minnesota, I lost some faith in them. No offense, Dave, but Maryland and how they've been playing, no faith whatsoever. Jackson, I believe we even said that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason O said he called it Maryland over USC the summer. USC isn't built for the Big Ten yet. Driving home from the game, fun atmosphere. Cool. I didn't know you were at the game. Game. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
And that's a nice call that you made during the summer. That's gutsy too. That's gutsy. I try to get picks out of Jackson, and he refuses to give them to me until it's like 2 weeks in. I'll be literally poking Jackson, being like, "Who do you think's going to win Alabama, Tennessee?" And he'll be like, "I gotta wait till I see at least 1 week, good buddy." But Dave said Notre Dame only losses now to a sub-power MAC team. Oh Lord, we're back to that again.
Mm.
He said USC is going to finish 6-6, 7-5. Oh, that's being kind. They could finish 5-7 if they don't pick it up. And this one's directed towards you, good buddy. Bama's in the trick bag. Lose to Tennessee,
Right.
not so bad. But couple that with Vandy, they need help now.
Oh, we'll definitely get to the Crimson Tide here in a little bit. But I tell you this though, the Oklahoma Sooners, what are they gonna do?
Oh, look away.
What are they gonna do?
Jackson, Shane Beamer with a marquee win. I'm happy for South Carolina. They got a big marquee win. They finally got over the hump. But golly, Jackson, Oklahoma's got quarterback issues.
Do you think maybe I like Brent Venables all right and all, but do you think Oklahoma maybe should let Shane Beamer know just stay one more year and if Lincoln Riley I know they didn't plan on Lincoln Riley leaving and all, but it's like maybe they should have done everything they could to keep Shane Beamer, honestly. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
that's a good point.
because Shane Beamer, he's never going to win an SC title at South Carolina. It's just not happening, But Oklahoma, maybe. I tell you this though, if Oklahoma does decide we're tired of the Brent Venables era, like next year, like if things don't get better for Oklahoma next year, and they decide, you know what, we're tired of Brent Venables era, maybe it's not a bad idea to give Shane Beamer a call. Because Shane
Well,
Beamer needs to win someplace, and he's not going to get what he wants out of South Carolina. He can get a little something more.
And Jackson, Troy B agrees with your point. Oh, you might be looking for a coach next year. I cut ties if it was me. Like, here's the thing. I'm kind of 50-50, Jackson. Like, I don't think it's all his fault either.
No.
Like, I feel like he's doing his part on the defense side of the ball. But it's just like, I know when you're the head coach, you're responsible for everything.
Yep. Everything's your fault when you're the leader. Even when it's not.
I gotta say this, Jackson, and I know the Michigan at the Voice of College Football, our good buddies TJ and John, they may not like to hear this, but I feel like Oklahoma and Michigan are almost a similar situation. Like, good defenses, but bad quarterback play.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kicking them in the tail right now. Would you agree with that assessment, Jackson?
I could see that.
They're in the same boat?
I could see that, yeah.
And Jason Ost is happy for South Carolina. Nice road win. They needed this one after losing to Alabama after heartbreaking fashion, and then LSU storming back on them when College Game Day was there. I'm glad they got it done.
Oh, for sure. It's a huge win for the Gamecocks. Finally, I wonder if they can continue that momentum against Texas A&M 2 weeks from now. And of course, they got Vandy, Missouri, Wofford, and Clemson waiting for them. So I mean, if South Carolina wins out at least the rest of November, maybe our friend Mark Rogers will get his answers on a team with a pulse for Clemson.
That is true. And Troy Lee says, I don't get a head coach vibe from Venables. What do you think, Jackson? When you watch Venables on the sideline, do you agree with Troy? You don't get that vibe, or what do you think?
Well, it's not looking good for him. It's looking pretty bad.
I mean, I just hope for Oklahoma's sake, good buddy, that they could just find him a quarterback,
They need
or better yet,
they need to be
Jackson. They should
like
go for it.
they need to literally watch every school that's like in the group of 5, lower power 5 FCS schools. They need to be watching like hawks for any QB they can find, because obviously they're not getting either. They're not getting it from either quarterback that they've got, from Hawkins or Arnold. Arnold got way too overhyped.
Yeah,
And
Jackson, and it's
he
one of the
either they let him step in way too early.
yeah, and that's what ran Dylan Gabriel off. They didn't let Arnold sit there and develop, and I think it's hurting them now. But Oregon will take it.
They were all afraid of Jackson Arnold leaving them. It's like, oh God, he's gonna leave us. Can't do that. Gotta be like, well, you leave, you leave. I mean, bye. We'll prepare without you. We'll miss you.
Well, Jackson, at this rate, they should just let him leave.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got freaking Dylan Gabriel. You gotta keep him. I don't care if Dylan Gabriel's.
Yeah.
Exactly, Rough Rider. Exactly. Someone had a huge hangover on Saturday at noon. That was Arizona State.
Jackson, is honestly, I was watching some of this game. They didn't play too awful bad with Jeff Sims, but their kicking game, Jackson, oh my gosh. Did you see that kicking? I don't know how much of this you caught, but did you see their kicker, Jackson? He was atrocious today.
Oh, yeah. It's disastrous.
And Jackson, did you see the head coach? Did you see Kenny Dillingham put out a comment? He said, if you're at the University of Arizona State, email me and I'll give you my phone number and you come try out for the kicking position. Because he was like, we can't be missing these tight kicks and making these bad of errors.
Yeah. It was just like, good God. Oh,
but Cincinnati got a nice win. And it's going to be Cincinnati, Colorado next week, I believe at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Jackson, the second we doubt UCLA, what happens? They get a nice win over Greg Schiano and Rutgers. What the heck?
Oh, my God. Like, that was so bad. Ooh. Well, I got a feeling like those boys and girls at Tempe, Arizona, they do not stay for one drink, do they? They tend to get more than one. So, so no getting drunk from me. That's a no-no. I'll lose brain cells if I don't.
Jackson, this game here was so incredibly frustrating because, Jackson, we picked Rutgers. We picked them by a good, healthy margin. And it's one of them things, it's like what the actual heck, Rutgers? UCLA is a bad football team. Now, at times they play like a decent football team, but they played mostly bad football all year. And for crying out loud, you give up 35 to a non-competent offense. And it's like, Jackson, I can't believe that we thought Rutgers could be a Big Ten contender. Pretenders they are.
Yeah, for sure. It's just oh my god.
Well, Jackson, at
Somebody
least
had a good
UCLA got
day.
one of their 4 wins. UCLA got one of their 4 wins. And of course, we picked Northwestern, and it backfires.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Well,
this is the weekend of go ahead.
this is the
Make me
comedy of
angry over
errors.
here.
This is comedy of errors. Man.
Like, seriously. Like, we picked Wisconsin because they hadn't gone to Northwestern and won it in over 20 plus years. And then they beat them. Go
Yep.
figures. And Dave Lindsay says they
They
are
are
what
what they thought
they
they
thought
were.
they were.
I love it. Dennis Green from the Cardinals press conference against the Bears in 2006. I love it. Love it. Oh, that. But how about Army and Navy? Hats off to those universities for smacking everyone in all of college football. And we're getting close to that reality check. Could we see possibly both Army and Navy get in the 12-team playoff? Could we see one of them? I mean, I just got to tell you, I'm impressed with both of them.
Jackson, Jackson, you're a big dreamer, good buddy. But I don't think they would put both Army and Navy in. Like Jackson, because only one group of four team can get in. Like, and more than likely,
If everybody in the
Jackson,
Power Five keeps, there's no rule saying that you can't have more than one group of five. That's something you gotta remember. There is no rule saying that. It
I
says
believe
at
there.
large. They didn't exactly say who the at large teams have to be.
The way they make it sound, Jackson, and I could be reading this wrong, but I don't think group of 4 teams can get 2 or 3 in. I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but you might be right. There may be no rule, but Jackson, the problem is too is their schedule is awful. Both of them. Like,
Schedule.
see, here's the thing, Jackson.
They're a feel
Because let's
good.
be
They are a
honest.
feel good story with Tom Rinaldi giving the biography story in the back room, being the top notch narrator that he is.
Well, see, here's the problem, Jackson. When you don't play nobody on your schedule, let's just say both of them go undefeated, right? And then they meet for the American. One, they may win the American, but guess what? You got Boise over here who took possibly the #1 team in the nation down to the very end, and they're going to be like, "Oh, okay, Boise, you're more legit. Come on."
Yep.
And Jackson, I feel like these 9-3, 10-2 SEC Big Ten teams just have too much traction that it would be hard for both Army and Navy to go over them.
I'll tell you something though. It's gonna be interesting seeing Notre Dame Navy next week on ABC. I'm looking forward to that game. It is on my radar.
I wonder if College Game Day is going to go there.
They better. Freaking imbeciles. No, they're gonna
Yeah,
be
they
like,
haven't made
no,
it.
they're gonna go to the LSU test center. No, you're gonna go to Notre Dame Navy and show the proper respect to Navy. And then while
No,
you're
no,
at it,
no.
you're gonna go to Army. You're gonna go to Army Notre Dame the week before rivalry week. It's at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium.
See, here's the
An
problem,
iconic
Jackson.
stadium in all of
See,
sports.
see, Jackson. Here's your problem with the LSU one is they're saving LSU for Alabama
Yeah.
because Nick Saban. We know what's going to happen. Alabama, they'll win next week, and then Nick Saban will be like, they'll be like, "Hey, coach, you want to go to LSU
Screw
because
it.
you played for
As
both
long as I
schools?"
see Notre Dame Navy next week at College Game Day, that's fine.
You know what, Jackson? They'll go to Ohio State, Nebraska, just to tick you off, or they'll go to some FCS game. like
Let the new
Montana
kickoff
State.
go to that game. I mean, they want to see Nebraska's brains get beaten in by Ohio State. That's fine by me. But I'm not gonna pretend Ohio State beating Nebraska I'm not gonna pretend Ohio State is the next coming of Jesus because they beat Nebraska. They beat Nebraska. That's not 1997 Nebraska, man. This is a new Nebraska team with Matt Rule. I mean, Nebraska's not beaten a top 25 team since September 17th, 2016 against who? The Oregon Donald Ducks on ABC, broadcasted by legendary broadcaster Sean McDonough.
And Jason O says that the game's at MetLife. That is a good point. Does game day go to neutral sites, or
Yes,
do they
they do.
only go to campus games?
Oh, they don't give
Okay,
a rat's
so
behind. They don't care.
I I didn't know if they went to neutral site games other than when you play your conference title games. Well, they
Yeah.
went to Dublin. Never mind. Never mind. They went to Dublin. That was a neutral site, kind of, sort of.
But somebody had a really bad day. And that
Oh
was Michigan,
gosh.
unfortunately.
Oh goodness, Jackson. Where do we begin? Where do you want to start? Because I feel like we might be here a minute. Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the coaching, the quarterback
Oh my,
play?
like everything. We
Like,
we
where would
gotta
you?
talk about everything. I mean, the quarterback plays a freaking nightmare at Michigan. I mean, this is not a team that's gonna be in the top 25 tomorrow. When the rankings come out, we are not seeing the defending national champs get in tomorrow. It's just not happening. But I will say though, top-notch victory by the Illinois Fighting Illini. You know the last time Illinois beat Michigan was on Halloween of 2009? And the last time Illinois beat Michigan in Ann Arbor was in 2008 with Juice Williams at quarterback. And oh wow, I'm loving what Brett Bielema's doing over in Champaign. He's doing terrific job over in Champaign. Why were there even people saying, what, like, I know that there was like a majority of people saying this, but some people saying that, oh, well, Brett Bielema's not doing so hot. He's going to fail at Champaign. It's like, after one bad year, really? One bad year? Well, I'll tell you something. That win against Kansas set the stage for something humongous in Champaign. I mean, they are doing fantastic over there. And what's left on their schedule is they got to go to Oregon next Saturday on CBS. They got Minnesota coming to their backyard November 2nd. They got Michigan State coming to their backyard. Unfortunately, we are not getting that game day dream of college game day going to Rutgers, Illinois. That's been shut the hell with UCLA winning. It's just not happening. And on rivalry week, we got Illinois and Northwestern, of course. But could we see Illinois have a 10-2 season or an 11-1 season? What kind of season could we see? And agreed, Red Grange had a great day today. And Dave Valinsky said Michigan is exactly what I thought they were going to be. I said 8-4. I meant 8-4.
Be honest with you, Dave, and then this is being dead serious. Michigan could miss a bowl game. Like I know Jackson. You know, you may think I'm being dead serious, Jackson. If they don't clean this monstrosity up, they could go 5-7 and miss a bowl. Think about that, Jackson. The defending national champs missing a bowl game. Like, what does that say about your program? Like, we're over here worried about Mike Norvell. Jerome Moore, his butt is on fire. If he don't at least make a bowl, Jackson. Like,
Oh, well, his buyout is $5 million. So, I mean, they
Oh,
wouldn't.
that's nothing. That's chump change.
I mean, that's a
It's
lot of
chump
money.
change to
That's a
Michigan.
lot of money for guys like us. But I mean, that's nothing for a
For
guy like
Michigan, that's.
Sherman
I
Moore.
was about to say that's chump change for Michigan. But Jackson, when's the last time a defending national champion missed the bowl games altogether? Has that ever happened in the history
Oof.
before?
Oh, it's happened quite a few times.
Teams that have had number one have not fared too well. Illinois with the upset next week. Oh, what do you think, Jackson? Could
We're gonna
Illinois
find out and
upset?
see. We're gonna
Could you
wait and see
imagine,
what happens.
Could you imagine, Jackson? We could see a scenario, Jackson, where it could be Illinois, Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. What about that history?
Ooh.
No Michigan, no Ohio State, no Oregon. Like, think about that, Jackson. We could live in a world where it's Illinois, Indiana for the Big Ten championship. Think about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think about oh man, that would be an awesome episode of Locked on Illini from Sonny Burma, man. That would be awesome. Like he'd be getting things lined up. Like shout out to our good buddy Sonny. I mean, that would be awesome.
Rough Rider Returns says, I would like that for a change. I think we all would. Even though Jackson likes the big games, and Jackson, you would be pretty intrigued by that. Even
Sorry
you would
with
have to admit, Jackson.
That's all right with me, good buddy. That is all right with me.
But back to Michigan. I know you're going up there to SMU, but I'm not done with Michigan yet. I'm not done opening my can of whoop butt on them just yet. Yet, good buddy. Michigan, what the heck are you doing? Like, I like Jackson. It don't seem like any quarterback that they bring in is the answer. Whether it's Orgy, Warren, Tuttle, they've got no running game. Khalil Mullins, he's had he had a breakout performance against USC, and then it's kind of like they want to use Donovan Edward, and then we've heard our Michigan people say they need to use Edward more like a slot receiver because Michigan's receivers can't create separation because they got no run game. Like Jackson, Michigan's offense is atrocious, and their defense, Jackson, is not as elite as it once was either. Like Michigan
Ooh,
overall is like a mess. Like
right.
Jackson, and I know if our good buddies John and TJ were here, they would be telling us about how they should have went out and got Kyle McCord after Ohio
That's what
State
our
ran him
buddy
off.
TJ was saying. You know, we should have gotten Kyle McCord. He was talking about how Kyle McCord is third in passing yards for the season, third only to Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. Like I remember because uh, I called in a little while ago on the Michigan call-in show. You know that's what TJ was talking about tonight.
Let me ask you this, Jackson. Why do you think Michigan didn't go get a quarterback? Were they confident in the three that they had?
They were.
Because I would seriously like to be a fly on the wall when Harbaugh said, "This is your team now, Sharon. Do what you need to." Was Sharon looking at it and saying, "Oh, we've got three good quarterbacks. We'll be fine." And then when he actually watched the play, it was like, "Oh boy, we're in trouble."
Oh yeah.
But I do got to say this though, Jackson. In the off season, when the portal opens up, what do you think the first thing that Michigan's going to go get? A quarterback or go get receivers first?
Oh, they're gonna have to get a quarterback sooner or later.
But real quick, I know I'm ragging on Michigan, but Illinois, Jackson, what a fantastic season they are on. And like you mentioned, Jackson, I can't believe people were ready to fire Brent Bielema after one bad year. Because, well, the thing was, Jackson, they had that great year with those two top corners. And then people were like, I need to see more from him. I need to see more. See if he could keep a winning season consistent. And then they miss a bowl game, and everyone's like, see, I told you Brent Bielema's not the guy. We need to fire him. He's not it. We need to fire him. And I remember, Jackson, you were on the train of when people were saying, should we fire Brent Bielema after the disappointing season? You were like, let's slow down there, cowboy. Like, let's give him a pass. And then if he has another bad year, then we can have a conversation. Or we could give him like a vote of confidence for 2025.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you guys thought that PJ should have gotten fired after one bad year. What do you think, Jackson? Were you in that boat when PJ had that? I can't remember if you were or not.
They should have. I didn't think about, like, whether PJ should be fired, but I felt like the Minnesota athletic department was going to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to fire PJ Fleck because we're tired of waiting. Unfortunately,
And he said, "Well,
yeah, because like I don't really get into that bandwagon all that much of fire this coach or that coach, or it's like I do get in bandwagons of like my own like things of my own. When I'm right about something, I let everybody know it. But when I'm wrong about something, I'll let everybody know, hey, I made a bad prediction. I'm not gonna be around the bush or pretend I'm on the current trend or whatever. It's like what I say is what I say, and what you see is what you get from me. And I won't hide from what I say. But SMU Stanford, how about SMU?
SMU look good.
Yeah, they're good.
Good for them. Good for them. Now, Jackson, the next game above it, I think, is the one we really need to talk about. What the actual heck?
Oh my
Jackson,
God.
you called it. Jackson, you called it Wednesday night. Did you not? Did you not?
Because that's what was going to happen.
You said
that was going to happen. It was just going to be another frustrating game where Auburn looks like they're going to win. Oh my God, they're going to pull off the upset. They're going to pull off the upset. But then they don't. They don't. They always do this all the freaking time. They've been doing this all off season. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to be like, we're the best 3-9 team in all college football. We're the best 4-8 team in all college football. Yeah, that's not something to brag about. That is not something to brag about. Of course, Missouri was going to be sloppy. Of course, they were going to look like a disaster. They barely beat Boston College. They barely got through Vanderbilt. They got blasted with a double dose of rock salt by Texas A&M. A double dose of freaking rock salt by Texas A&M.
And Jackson, I think even when we made our predictions, I had Missouri 24-21 winning by a field goal. I think you said something in the ballpark of the same thing, like a field goal win. And we both even said.
I said it was going to be 27-24, I think. I thought it was going to be much higher.
That's what I was thinking. Well, Jackson, when we both thought it was going to be a field goal win for Missouri, it was going to be one of them, and that Missouri miraculously wins, and now everyone's talking about them. And Dave Lynch said Missouri's the most overrated SEC school ever. Yeah, they're showing it right now. Like, because Jackson, there was a lot of hype going in to this game to Missouri this year because they beat Ohio State, right? And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Eli Drinkwitz has got them back. They may contend with the big dogs, with Georgia and Bama and LSU and Texas and Oklahoma. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? And it's kind of, and in Jackson, it's almost been kind of like, like,
because that's what they'll do.
And then,
We know that's gonna happen. We know they're gonna show up against Alabama, and they're gonna either magically pull off an upset, spoil any shot we've got at a playoff, at an appearance of the playoff, or something. Something's gonna happen, I'm sure. Or we're gonna
It
be
always
beating
does.
Auburn. No one's really thinking about Alabama Auburn compared to like Texas A&M, which in this case that's what it should be. But I mean, oh my god, like this Auburn team is so freaking irritating. They lose the cow.
Mm.
They pissed away against Oklahoma. They pissed away against Missouri. Today. They blew it. They blew it. Led 17-6 in the fourth freaking quarter. 15
Yep.
unanswered points they allowed. Oh, ha
Yep.
ha.
And
Oh, ha ha.
and here's the thing too, Jackson. As soon as I saw them go up 17-6, I was thinking, a lot of people be thinking, "Oh, Auburn's got this right with 8 minutes to go." I'm thinking it's not over, and then I turn it back over, and it's 17, it's 21-17, and then it's like, I told you it's not over. Not until the fat lady starts singing. And Jackson, and here's the thing. And then now, and I'm sure people are going to say about Missouri, "Oh my gosh, what a cardiac comeback win by Missouri. They're legit." And it's like, really? You're going to say they're legit after beating Auburn? Like, really? Like, come on. Like, that's what annoys me, Jackson. And people are going to start thinking that, and Jackson, and I know a lot of people look at it and say, well, championship teams find championship ways to win. And it's hard to argue with that. But is Missouri a championship team? Not really. Like, do I think they can win the SEC? I mean,
No.
maybe they can. Maybe they could get there to Atlanta, Jackson, because the SEC's just beating each other up each week. And if Missouri somehow beats you all at your most vulnerable point, they've got a shot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would not surprise me. I mean, the Missouri-Alabama game. Ugh, oh my god. I am already dreading Missouri-Alabama because it's just going to be both sloppy teams on ABC yet again. Yet again. It's like, oh my god. And we both look pitiful against Vanderbilt. We were worse against Vandy than Missouri was. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. But, Jackson, I got to say, Kansas State, West Virginia, the Wildcats and Chris Kleiman looking good.
Yeah, but that means the Fire Neil Brown bandwagon is coming back up.
And, Jackson, I think if West Virginia's 3-4, Jackson, I feel like even if they make a bowl, they'll probably move on. Like, because I think, honestly, Jackson, they might just be done, period, with this carousel. Oh, should we fire Neil Brown? Should we not? Oh, he did win 9 games and finish ranked, but this year he's off to a terrible start. It's just like, oh, brother.
It's like a friggin' stock market, and things change. 1 week, we love Neil Brown. Oh, we hate Neil Brown. Oh, we love him not. We love him not. Perception changes real quick.
Mm-hmm. But Indiana had a wonderful day, Jackson. 56-7. And I will admit it right here, the Hoosiers are legit. Like Jackson, like in years past, I'm kind of in the perception of, okay, when's the Cinderella ride going to end? Like, I'm honestly thinking, Jackson, they're not on a Cinderella ride.
Honestly,
Legit, they're the real deal.
Honestly, there's no question that they're a playoff team. Question is, will they make it to the Big Ten title game? And can they beat Ohio State for the first time since 1988?
Whoa, Jackson. Jackson, good buddy. I'm gonna have to calm you down. I don't think Indiana's a playoff team. Calm down.
Look at their schedule first. Look at their schedule.
I understand that, good buddy. I understand that. Like, calm down. Calm down. Like, what do you tell me when I get hyped about Colorado? Like, calm down. Like, Jackson, like, if Indiana goes 10-2, he said they could beat. They could. Do I think they will? Probably not. I won't. We'll pick that game when we get there. But Jackson, I feel like Indiana would have to go to win the Big Ten to get in. I don't feel like the committee would respect them enough.
It's as I've said before. If you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you don't need to win the conference to get in the playoffs, honestly. And hell,
and Dave Winston says, "Are you kidding?"
All they got to do is go 11-1. I mean, all they got to do is go 11-1. They're in. Here, I'm gonna show you the little schedule. Hold on. Let's look at it.
Listen here. Okay, it's basically 2 against 1 here. If you're a 2-loss Big Ten team, see, here's the thing, though. Let me be honest with you, David Jackson, and the thing about it too is, if Indiana goes 10-2, okay, let's put that out there.
Yeah.
Let's say they go 10-2. Look at who they might have ahead of them. Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Ohio State wins the Big Ten. You've got Oregon, you got Oregon, Ohio State. There's Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. There's 3 Big Ten teams right there.
Yeah.
Plus you've got LSU, Bama, Georgia, Texas. Where's Indiana going to fit in there? Plus you got to have a group of 5 in there somewhere.
Well, Indiana can get in as a 10-11 team.
Jackson, do you just realize those teams are rattled off are going to take all those spots? 1, 2, 3, plus a Big 12 team and an ACC team.
Alabama's looking like utter crap. I don't see Alabama getting in as a playoff team. We look like hell.
Well, because Jackson, if Georgia wins the SEC, you'll be in. I'm saying that right now. I think most people would agree with me.
Yeah, but don't forget,
if Georgia wins the SEC,
LSU left on the schedule. That's the thing, though.
See, here's the thing, Jackson. I think even if you go 9-3, you're still in.
I doubt
like, if it's between 10-2, I believe this with all my heart. If Alabama's 9-3 and Indiana's 10-2, and it's for the last spot, they're going to put you all in because they'll compare resumes and say, Alabama beat Georgia. Who did you beat, Indiana? Nebraska? Do you see where I'm going with that? Their schedule does not line up for them.
I mean, that's
true. They would have to beat Ohio State.
But, I mean, I'm just not seeing – I just don't see it. It's just not happening.
And Troy V says the SEC is cannibalizing each other. They might not – okay, yeah. Like, be honest with me, Jackson. Go down this rabbit hole with me real fast.
Okay.
As of right now, Jackson, who are the 3 locks that you think? Do you think Indiana's a lock?
They go 11-1. They're a lock.
So that would put 4 in. Yeah. Okay, so you've got Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana. Mm-hmm. Plus the SEC is probably going to get 4, possibly 5. But here's the problem, Jackson. The Big 12 and ACC come in here as well. Does Miami or Clemson sneak in? Does loser sneak in? That could knock Indiana out.
Does the
Big 12, I think, is only going.
Does the loser of the Big 12 title get in? We don't know. That all depends on who's winning, who's losing.
And we have Johnny. I don't know how you say your last name. Apologies.
Johnny Blaze. or
Johnny
Blass.
Blaze, I apologize, but he said, look, dude, should Indiana beat Ohio State and are in the Big Ten title game, you got to give them a spot. No, I'm agreeing with Jackson. If Jackson, we're laying the scenario out. If they do beat the Buckeyes, I won't have any arguments. I truly believe if they beat Ohio State, they should be well in. But that's the problem, though. Jackson's making the argument if they don't beat the Buckeyes, they're still a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's what I'm.
If they were,
That's what I'm.
if they were in the ACC or the Big 12, there's no debate. We're not literally going to be debating for an eternity on whether they get in or not. But because they're in the Big 10, we're having this conversation about Indiana.
And Troy V makes a great point. We just brought up maybe the ACC gets 2 with Miami and Clemson if they both are on the table and then they meet in the title game. True, because Clemson's already got 1 loss. Let's say Clemson wins it. Miami's stuck there with 1. That would fill the 2.
Yeah, Miami Clemson's in. Because, if it comes down to Indiana, the Big 12 title game runner-up, and who knows who else, because it's not going to be coming down between a group of 5 Big 12 runner-up in Indiana. I think Indiana's getting in.
Jackson, I'll say this. I think it all depends on the Ohio State game. But Dave Lynch says Bama's not getting in at 9-3. If that happens, I've lost all faith in college football playoff selection committees. I don't have that much faith in them now. Well, Dave, perfect example. Last year, look at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
That should be your answer right there. They put Alabama in over an undefeated conference champion. That should be your answer right there. So it would not shock me in the least if 9-3 Alabama gets put in over 11-1 Indiana.
We know
would not surprise me in the least.
Oh yeah, we know somebody's getting screwed over.
And I'm sure Jackson, I'm sure you wouldn't be happy because you screwed over Indiana, but at the same time, as we know, in Jackson, here's what's going to happen too. I can already see it in my head. They'll be in the war room, Jackson, the committee room, and be like, "Do we want Alabama or do we want Indiana? Let's think about this. Do we want a 9-3 brand team or do we want this basketball school? Well, come on, Alabama, you're the brand team. Come on over. You're good for the sport. Sorry, Indiana, you're a basketball school. Shoot."
Well,
do you not think that's what they would say? Am I speaking out of terms?
It wouldn't surprise me if the playoff committee did that. Because, I mean, they've done it before. They'd do it again, I'm sure. But it's like between us, there's no debating about Indiana getting in.
I'm debating it because I don't think they will, Jackson. I don't think, honestly.
But what if we were the committee? What if we were the committee members? Think about that.
Honestly, Jackson, in all seriousness, if we were the committee members, if they beat Ohio State, they got my blessing. You count me as a vote. But if they don't beat the Buckeyes, they don't get a vote from me.
You don't think the Hoosiers could win a playoff game?
No. Jackson, you realize what kind of Jackson? Indiana's a little fish that would be swimming in a freaking shark pond. They're not going down to Baton Rouge and winning. They're not going to Eugene and beating the Ducks. I'm sorry. Indiana's not cut out for the big boy football. I'm sorry.
They beat LSU, but you don't think they could win a playoff game at the very least?
No. Jackson, they're not good enough for that yet.
LSU would find a way to piss it away. They would find a way to piss it away. They always blow it in the postseason. Like Brian Kelly teams blow it in big postseason games. That's just how it is. until proven
Because
otherwise.
here's the thing. See, here's the thing, Jackson. I, I realize what you're saying. You're asking if they would win a playoff game. Do you honestly believe in your heart of hearts, Jackson, that they could that we're pursuing that LSU or the Georgias and all them? You think they could handle that challenge right now? You
I
think
don't
they've
think
made
they
it
could
to?
handle Georgia, but I think they could handle LSU.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Well, LSU sucks in the postseason. They suck. Like Brian Kelly teams suck in the big games. We saw it through Cincinnati where they fell apart in the Orange Bowl against Virginia Tech. We saw Notre Dame getting their feelings hurt by Alabama in the BCS national title game and in the playoffs. We saw Notre Dame getting their feelings hurt by Clemson. I mean, LSU would get their feelings hurt if they went to a playoff game right
okay,
now. I mean, that's just Brian
okay.
Kelly in a
Thank
nutshell.
you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. I know we don't see eye to eye on them making it, but thank you. Like that's my point. Like Jackson, like that's what I'm saying. Could they go to like Death Valley at LSU, hostile environment, night game, and win? Absolutely not. Do you think that? Do you think they could go to? I'm trying to think of another good one. Do you think they could go to Georgia, go to Athens, and win?
I don't think they could win at Georgia, no doubt about it. I don't think they could win at Georgia because Kirby gets his teams ready for the big ones.
So let me ask you this, Jackson. What playoff game do you think Indiana could win since you brought it up? Like what game are you thinking when you're thinking can Indiana win a playoff game? Are you thinking like if they play the Boise of the world, or you actually thinking like the big boys?
Like a mix of both. Like, depending on who those big boys are. Like, if you put Texas against them, no. You put Oregon, no. You think of, like, say, Georgia, no. But, like, Ole Miss, yes. Yes, dude, yes. Tennessee, they could beat those obnoxious balls. They could beat those obnoxious balls, grab them by the tail.
And Dave Lindsay says if Indiana is playing at home, it's a cold day, Indiana all the way. Yeah. I feel like if they get one of the warm weather teams, it could play in their favor. Indiana versus Illinois, who would win? Oh,
Indiana.
where's the game being played at?
Indiana for me.
If it's being played in Champaign, I'd take the Illini. But if
Yeah,
we're going to
I mean,
Hoosierville, I would take Indiana.
yeah. Oh man, if I think this is a wild conversation, now wait until we get the CFB after dark tomorrow.
Well, see, Jackson, you got me started on Indiana. And see, Jackson, that's the world we live in. We're
I know.
arguing if Indiana should have a playoff spot. Like, seriously. You know what? While we're at it, Jackson, make a case for Minnesota to have a playoff spot. I
Hell
dare
no.
you.
Minnesota's fight for bowl eligibility. They're not They're not one of the 12 unbeaten teams in all of college football. Well, not one of the 12
Man,
unbeaten anymore, because I gotta update my brain a little bit.
Jackson, could you imagine if they did like college basketball and did like a Big Ten tournament or something? Oh my gosh. Then everyone would still be at play. Oh my gosh. But yeah. Anyway, off of Indiana. Go away, Indiana. Shoot. We'll get back to you later.
Well, now
I've had enough
we
of
have
this.
10 unbeaten teams in college football. So it's hard to turn away one of the 10 unbeaten teams in all of college football. But anyway, we got Texas A&M beat Mississippi State. Of course, you're supposed to. They got you distracted because you're thinking about LSU. Now, shoot.
Shoot, you want a good cookie? Notre Dame took care of business. Shoe. You want a cookie?
Clemson,
Want a brownie? I'll go make brownie.
There you go. Yeah, Clemson beat Virginia, which I mean, of course, they're supposed to. But I mean, Iowa State, they won a tight one, and thank God they're unbeaten, 7-0, and they got their best start for the first time since 1936. I mean, like Clark Gable was a top movie star. The Three Stooges were like a top comedy trio on Columbia. Uh, Donald Duck wore the white hat instead of the blue hat. Mickey Mouse had those black dotted eyes instead of the regular eyes. There's so much. Franklin D. Roosevelt was running for his second term as president. There's so much history about 1936, and it was the last time Iowa State had a humongous start in all college football. I mean, how about the Matt Campbell train? Oh my God, Rocco Beck having a modern life at Ames, Iowa against Central Florida, and of course, Central Florida bringing their A game again in games that no one's really talking about.
Jackson, they're the freaking Auburn of the Big 12.
Of
Let's
course.
call it how we see it.
They'll do this crap next week against BYU. And, spoiler alert, Central Florida is going to upset BYU, I'm sure. Now, I'm going to be pissed because that means we're not going to get our unbeaten battle between Iowa State, BYU. Somebody is getting screwed over in the Big 12, and I'm not going to be happy from it. So that's the spoiler alert.
And Dave Walensky asked a great question. Does the second round of the playoffs home games for those teams that have buys in the playoffs, could you imagine Iowa State playing at home in late December? That would be wild. But Jackson, is that when the actual New Year's Six kick in after the first round?
Yup.
Okay, so it's just one round, and then you're off to play the neutral sites.
Yep.
But yeah, Jackson, UCF always pulls out this type of stuff.
They do that.
And Jackson, we even had a bad feeling about this game going into it. I believe you picked UCF, didn't you? Didn't you pick the upset?
I think I did. I'll have to double check it.
But here's the thing, Jackson, and it's just like you said, they're bound to spoil someone's season. Kind of like Auburn. And here's what's going to happen, Jackson. Like you said, they're going to beat BYU next week, and then they're going to spoil BYU's season, and then someone's going to backdoor over BYU. Like Kansas State's going to backdoor their way in, and we're going to get Kansas State, Iowa State instead.
Yeah, because it's like, I really hope that it's not true. I hope I'm wrong, but something tells me that's going to happen. I don't know why, but it will.
Yeah, Iowa State survived today. They got it done. Rocco Beck, company's still undefeated. We'll see how the schedule works out. Now, Jackson, let's talk about the real team. LSU avoided the letdown against them Razorbacks. Jackson, are you ready to call LSU a threat in the SEC? Are you ready to admit it now?
Can they win a playoff game? Can they win a playoff game? That's going to be my question. What? Can they win a playoff game? Can they do enough in the playoffs? I don't care what they can do in the regular season. I want to see what they can do in the playoffs.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here, Jackson. You get out of here with your foolishness. Number one, that's not what I asked. I said, are you ready to take LSU as serious SEC contenders, not playoff contenders?
They can get it done in the regular season, but they can't get it done in the postseason. I don't care what they could do against Arkansas. That's not Frank Broyles' Arkansas.
But Jackson, you even said last week on the show, expect an LSU letdown because Brian Kelly always has a letdown after big wins.
Yeah.
And they dominated them tonight, Jackson. Like, LSU took control from the beginning. They showed that they are a disciplined football team. That's why I'm asking you, are you ready to consider them a threat now? Because they have proven to you that they are not going to have these letdowns as much.
Well, maybe they're not going to have letdowns, but can they win a playoff game? That's just how it is. I mean, that's going to be the question everybody asks.
Jackson, we're not at the playoffs yet, good buddy. It's about who can win the SEC.
They're not going to win the SEC either.
Jackson, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Good buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they're going. What are they going to do? Oh, yeah, they're going to beat a pitiful Alabama team, a pitiful Oklahoma team, a pitiful Florida team. Really? I'm supposed to be impressed by these douchebags in Baton Rouge? Like, really? I mean, like, Brian Kelly's a freaking douchebag. I'm supposed to be impressed by him?
Whoa. Wait. I'm going to stop you right there, young man. You will not talk bad about my beloved Brian Kelly. Not while I'm here.
How
dare you, Jackson? How dare you?
Like that's what he does. He does that little. He's a 60-year-old man trying to be a teenager. You look like it's so cringy that even that comedian Bert Kreischer, who I would even hardly call a comedian, is sitting there going, "Bro, that's too much." Like, I mean,
don't hold back, Jackson. Tell us how you really feel. LOL. Listen here. Like, I love Jackson to death. Respect his opinion. But see, Jackson's just simply wrong about LSU on this one. I'm trying to convert him. But Jackson is being very stubborn to see it my way. Jackson, I need you to understand. LSU's for real this year. I think it's time you accept that.
I think Dave's got a point. Brian Kelly's an asshole. That happened at Notre Dame in his first year. So, but yeah.
Well, we all have rough patches. I'm not saying it's acceptable if that's all true and stuff. I'm not condoning that one bit.
Right.
But we all have rough patches. But I will say this, Jackson. Besides the playoffs, if LSU wins the SEC, are you willing to admit that Brian Kelly can get it done in a big game?
No.
What is it with you, Jackson?
He's winning a conference title game. He has to win playoff games. He has to win a national title game. That being in a conference title
You're
game,
shifting the
it doesn't matter if you win the SEC Big Ten title game because you're in. If you're in the SEC Big Ten, if you're Big 12 or ACC or Group of 5, that's a big deal.
Jackson, you're shifting the narrative on him though, because you're saying he can't win the big games, right? And then when I bring up to you that what if he wins the SEC
games? He can't win big postseason games. He never does, and he never will.
So if he wins the SEC, Jackson, that's considered a postseason game because that's the conference title. That's a postseason game.
That would be considered a postseason game we're looking for. That's not the postseason game we're looking for. Because I mean, if they can win the SEC, well, good for you. You can win the SEC. I mean, you're at LSU. You're kind
of that's a huge accomplishment, though, Jackson. That's a freaking major accomplishment.
Yeah, but
it's hard to win the SEC.
Yeah, but you know how it is in SEC world. You gotta do better next year. You can't just be like, oh well, we're gonna keep you forever and ever because you won the SEC that one year. Doesn't happen like that.
As you all could tell, I'm an LSU believer. I bought into the Brian Kelly hype. Jackson, not so much, but that's okay. I still love him anyway. But when LSU wins it, LSU wins the SEC,
I'm already looking forward to round 3 already.
Jackson, Brian Kelly always gets us going. You're a Brian Kelly anti everything, and I'm sitting here defending him. Notre Dame has made the college football playoffs twice under Kelly, right?
But they didn't win a single playoff game. They got their butts handed to them.
No. and I believe they made the BCS national championship. No, was that
Yes,
before or after
they
Kelly
made
got
it
there,
to the
Jackson?
BCS national title, but they got their butts handed to them again.
So, so he's been to a national title and he's been to 2 playoffs, but he
Couldn't
hasn't won anything.
win any of them. And he led Cincinnati to 2 BCS games, but they couldn't win the BCS bowls.
But I will say, Jackson, we'll just have to see because they've got a lot of games left to play. They've still got U-Haul on the schedule, and they like you said, if they win the SEC, that could prove a lot. But good buddy, it's time for therapy because we got to talk about your game first.
I knew that was going to happen. I mean, both these
Don't
teams
worry,
were very
Jackson.
undisciplined. I mean, good God, we have 15 penalties today, 10 penalties for Tennessee. I mean, Jalen Milroe was jittery as hell against Tennessee, like he was against South Carolina last week. He was jittery against Vandy. Oh my God, it was just, oh no.
Jackson, I noticed this. He's starting to get happy feet in that pocket. Like his confidence is like shooken or something. Because against Georgia, he would be setting his feet, like looking, and then he would take off and run. Now he's like got his feet moving quick, and then he's like trying to take off quick, and then trying to make a throw. Like that last play, Jackson, they sped him up, and he threw it right to the defender.
Yeah. It's insane.
And I gotta say, Jackson, I gotta say, what in the world is it? Your offense, what is wrong with it? 17 points?
We are not a playoff team this year. I mean, I'm just like, we are not a playoff team. We do not look like a national title team. I think, honestly, we need to just, figure out if we can win the rest of the regular season. Now, don't get me wrong. We can make the playoffs with the schedule we got, but I don't see us beating LSU. Although they'll brag about it like it was like the greatest thing ever. I mean, yeah, you beat LSU in Baton Rouge. You beat Alabama in Baton Rouge. Good for you. You want a cookie? Here.
Jackson, I can't wait for that week. That's gonna be a fun week on the final whistle.
Oh yeah.
But
I will say I've got some plans. I've got some tricks up my sleeve for LSU week for when it gets there. Like I've got some good ones right there.
But I will say, Jackson, on your game though, y'all were up 17-7 at one point, and you let it go. And once again, Jackson, very undisciplined.
Yeah.
This is not a Nick Saban team.
Yeah.
Like Jackson, I know
gone.
You watched a lot of. I know he's gone, Jackson, but that you've got to be sitting there watching that thinking, what is Nick Saban thinking? Just like you got to be sitting there thinking, if Nick Saban was here right now, he would be cussing these boys out.
Oh, you know he would. I mean, he'd be mad. He'd be throwing them out mad.
And it's like Kalen DeBoer over there is just sitting there with his arms crossed, like not saying nothing, like letting it go.
I appreciate Troy. And
the thing too is, Jackson, and all I've heard on X/Twitter and the media, everyone's like, we need to fire Kalen DeBoer. He's not the right head guy. Alabama has fallen.
There's like a few noisy Bama fans, like a few of them that have obviously not watched college football or Alabama football before the Saban era. They're like throwing their hissy fits. You know, they've forgotten what it was like in the Mike DeBose era, the Shula era, and oh my God, like the DeBose. I mean, good God. We had a coach that was like skirting around with a secretary behind his wife's back. Like, for God's sake.
Oh, gosh.
But you're whining and crying about you're whining and crying about a proven head coach who's having a rough first year. Everybody
Hmm.
has a rough first year.
That's
It happens. Nobody's gonna make magic automatically. I mean, there are a few coaches, like I mean, Kurt Cincinnati, that's made magic at Indiana. I mean, it happens. Anyone who followed Saban was gonna struggle. He was a freaking legend. I don't envy DeBoer. Like, yeah, because I agreed. Honestly, all those people that yell about how, oh, I could coach Baron DeBoer. Oh, well, it's this person wouldn't put up with this person. That was gonna happen anytime DeBoer screwed up this year. We were gonna be hearing,
hmm
oh, well, Saban wouldn't have done this, Saban wouldn't have done that. I think a lot of our fan base has been spoiled. But we're like a lot of our fan base. They're like the spoiled teenagers that feel like the cock of the walk every time they get credit cards from mommy and daddy's name. That's what a lot of our fan base kind of feels like from this year. They've been kind of acting like that. And now it's like, oh well, let me think. He got
Jackson,
fired in 2006. That's who I
that's a great
remember. But Mike Sheila was the
that
head coach. Mike Sheila was head coach, but I was thinking you meant who was the Minnesota head coach, but I knew who was the Alabama coach, Mike Sheila.
Jackson, that's a great analogy. Like you called your own fan base spoiled brats. Like mommy and daddy gave them a credit card, and now that they can't spend it as much, they're crying about it.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, we are. Like a lot of us are just freaking brats who just are think that's just easy to have a winning team like that. But it's not. I
Hmm.
mean,
When the
and
thing,
some
here's the
people
thing.
are gonna tell me that, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not there. It's like, yeah, well, I've been watching college football my whole freaking life. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, and to be honest with you, Jackson, a lot of your fan base, a lot of them are bandwagons. So let's be for real.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of bandwagons. And like, if you asked them, like the first thing you'd be like, "What year did Saban come to Alabama?" They probably couldn't even tell you that. Some of them.
No. I'd ask him like what year, like what did 1995 look like? Couldn't tell me anything about it. What did 2003 look like? What was the Alabama Tennessee matchup in 2003 like? Nobody could tell me it. None of those bandwagon fans could tell me a damn thing about it. That I mean, agree.
Uh-huh.
It's perfectly well point. It's like, oh my god, it's talking about Bama fans make me think about arch rival Wisconsin as I mean, I'm gonna hear it. Like, some people that come across this edition of the file whistle, they're not gonna be happy with me, but you can't please everybody. Like that's the because like one week some fan base should be mad at me, and that's fine. Then next week those same fan bases will be happy with me. I mean, like it happens with everybody. It happens with all of us.
True. Well, and there's this famous quote out there, Jackson, that I like to use a lot. But sometimes you have to lose to learn how to win.
Yep.
Like, that's the famous quote. Like, be honest with you, Jackson. I'll be honest with you, Jackson. Like, look at, for example, like look at the Denver Nuggets in basketball. I've been a fan of them since I was in tights because my mom she grew up in Colorado. Mom, dad, family grew up over there, and that's what we used to watch. And I remember growing up, Jackson. They were bad. They weren't winning very much, but I stuck with them. They learned how to lose before they finally got to the mountaintop. And it's kind of like Jackson. I feel like the same way for Alabama. Y'all need to learn how to lose before y'all learn how to win again.
Yep.
You need to start over. re-hit the reset button
For sure.
instead of being before being spoiled brat saying, "We lost the Vanderbilt. Nick Saban would have never done that. Well, we shouldn't have almost lost South Carolina." Well, guess what? You did. Get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and Troy V says, I sometimes think about the Buckeyes fans, Jackson. We lost a 1-point game on the road to number 3 team at the time with the ball in the hands and a second late. They want to fire everyone. It makes me nuts. Jackson, you and Troy got something in common.
Yeah.
That your fan bases are nuts. No offense.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a lot of, because like a lot of the fans, they only just watch, a game. They're not like watching, you know, 40, 50, 60 games. Like I'm literally just arranging dates. Like, and I know like a lot of us, like we're literally arranging dates to just be like, no, we gotta watch this game, that game. I got full Saturday ahead of me. Got Friday night ahead of me. It's like some of those people that are like crying and moaning about like, Ohio State, stubbing a toe or Alabama stubbing a toe. They're not the ones that are watching 24/7. They're just watching like a game just to drink a beer and party or whatever. That's it, really.
Jackson, if you're like, if someone was to come up to me today and say, "Hey, you're gonna have the ball and you're gonna come up a second late against the third best team in the country," I'd be like, "Cool,
Yeah.
that shows how good we are." Like, cool, like, and I get Ohio State and even the great Mark Rogers even admitted this. He's used to winning. Like, and Jackson, I'm sure to a certain extent you're used to winning. Like, you're not used to seeing Bama this down, but
True.
you have those years. And like, everybody's used to winning, yes. Like me personally with Louisville, which we'll get to them in just a second. If we go 8-4, I'm happy. Like, that's my standard. 8-4. Let's get to a nice bowl game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's good for me. But like Alabama, Ohio State, and even Michigan fans have kind of become a little nuts lately. Like, oh, we won a national title. We suck this year. Well, no duh. What'd you think? Harbaugh took everyone with him. And every player was like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be with Sharon Moore.
Yeah. That.
Oh, I'm not saying it didn't suck, Troy V. I'm not saying it didn't suck. But I would be like, after the fact, like, be like, cool. Like that would suck, yes. We've had a couple of those in our lifetime, like Lamar Jackson coming up short. Go on. I still haven't gotten over that.
Oh, yeah. Great day
I'm
for
sure
Illini.
Jackson's.
There we go. Our friend Sonny Verma from Locked On Illini Cast, and the Big Ten Show. And oh man, the Bears on Tap. He's co-hosted that show as well. He's one of the busiest men in the sports media world, and I can tell you right now, he is a go-to for Illinois athletics, Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, and even Chicago Blackhawks. I'm telling you right now, this guy's a Chicago sports encyclopedia. I mean, you're gonna want to go hear his takes, man.
Jackson, you know what you remind me of? Whenever we have good buddy Sonny come around, or someone with a long title, it's almost like you got to say like doctor. They got all these doctorates, and you got to list them. That's what I feel like. Like he's got like a long title. Like he's the Locked On Illini, the Illini Cast, the Bears on Tap. It's
Well, I
like,
mean, those are his titles. That's everybody. I mean, it's like, that's my job. I mean, I got to make sure I remember everything, because if I don't, then I'm not doing a good job for you or everybody else here in the chat.
No, I give you credit, Jackson. I do. I give you credit. That's a lot of titles to remember. I'd be lucky to remember one.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's hard to forget a genius like Sonny Vern because he knows his stuff on Illini athletics, man. I mean, I'm curious to see what Illinois brings out against Oregon next week, and I'm curious to see what the Bears are bringing out for the rest of the year for sure.
Be honest, Jackson, I'd like to think I know a lot, but like we're all still learning. Like like Illinois, that's Sonny's field. Like I think I would know a little bit about him, but he would know more than me. Like you with Alabama. But speaking of my team, Jackson, do you want to talk about him?
Got to. I mean, we kind of have to, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you, Jackson? You say your piece first,
Mm.
because I might be a minute. Go for it.
What happened with them? I mean, although it was a good win for Miami, but what happened with Louisville today?
Okay, so get ready. I'm going to take you on a ride here. So honestly, Jackson, what I could tell you is we were trading blows with Miami. This was a heavyweight fight to the very end. And thank you, Sonny.
Thank you so
But
much.
thank you. It make my loss feel better, but but it was a heavyweight fight, Jackson. It was like because Miami's considered the measuring stick. A lot of people consider them the measuring stick, and I feel like we matched up good with them. Like we hung round and with them. Every time they would punch, we would punch back. Every time we give them a punch, they'd hit a blow to us. But here's the thing that's really going to get me going: the dang tackling. We could tackle Jackson. They were carrying 5, 6 of our guys along for a ride. Like that Damian Martinez run. I don't know if you watched any of this game, Jackson, but the knockout blow, he took 6 guys for a ride in the end zone. Like, what the heck? Like,
Oh, yeah.
are we just not going to. Like, I get some guys are deceptively strong, but there's 6 of him on him, and we can't even get him to the ground. And then Cam Ward back here doing the loop-de-loop, the sit back there, making a sandwich and flossing his teeth, and then deciding, oh, Strippo's open. Let me throw that real fast. And it's just like, what are we doing? We couldn't get no pressure. And then when we did, Cam Ward got out of the pocket. I mean, Jackson, 3rd and 17, and we give up a quarterback freaking scramble. Like Jackson, I know I pick on your defense a lot, but golly, I've got no room to talk in that department after today. Golly, we're just as undisciplined as you all are.
Oh, yeah. Go
And
wait.
and Jack, go ahead.
What was 2024 the rest of it look like for Louisville this season for you?
Honestly, Jackson, I don't know. Like every game that I thought we could win doesn't look like a win anymore. Every game I thought we'd could lose, we could end up winning. This is the kind of team we've got this year, Jackson. Like honestly, Jackson, I went into that Miami game thinking, okay, we're probably going to lose this game, but at least let's make it a competitive first half, and we take them to the very end.
Oh, yeah.
And Jackson, that fumble that got called back, that's going to be a controversial call. And I don't know if you saw it or not, Jackson, but do you think that was a fumble?
Doesn't sound like it was to me.
Because I don't know if anybody saw it or you saw it, but it was one of them calls. Like at first, I thought it was incomplete. That's what I originally thought it was because I was like, most of the time they get the benefit of the doubt to the quarterback, but then they ruled it a fumble and touchdown. I'm thinking, okay, and then I see the replay and he hits his arm, but then the ball looks like it's coming forward, but then it also looks like it's not, and it's just like, and then they reverse it, and then Jackson, the referees on both sides today were atrocious. Like, they were bad today. Like, they missed calls on both ends. I admit that. Like, Jackson, what is it with officials this year? Like, are they more bad than normal, or is it just me?
Oh yeah, it's a cluster right there.
So you do think the officials are bad this year? It's not just me.
Yep.
So I feel like the officials across the board have been kind of bad. I mean, like the SEC, like the ACC really have made some bad calls, but like the Big Ten officials seem to be. I know the OPI against Ohio State against Oregon. I know Troy will probably say that was a really bad call, but other than that, I think the Big Ten officials have probably been the best officiating crew I've watched. Like the SEC have made some really bad calls.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm glad
Jackson,
you mentioned the officiating because we'll get to the officiating on Georgia Texas here in a little bit.
yeah, talk about officiating, yeah, but yeah,
Sorry you had to
like
go
originally
through Marvel
Jackson,
losing today.
Jackson, I, I'm not gonna hang my head on it because I think we're a really good football team. I think we showed that today. I
Oh
just
yeah,
wish we would have came up with the win.
for sure. But we got Georgia Texas, and I can tell you, it was such like before we started off, we saw Matthew McConaughey going over there. We saw Olympic gold medalists going there. And the host, the host of the number one podcast of the world, Joe Rogan of the Joe Rogan Experience, went there. Joe freaking Rogan going to a college football game. Although he probably couldn't tell me a damn thing about Texas football or Texas A&M, but I tell you this though, wouldn't it be like that? It would be cool, like if he went on like talking about like UFC or college, but be like, I don't know that much about UFC, but I'm gonna learn as much as possible. But anyway, it was pretty cool seeing all that. But onward to the game. Can number one Texas win? Are we gonna see another down and out day for number one teams in all college football? Well, looks like
Jackson,
we're in for nasty weather, as Creedence Clearwater Revival puts it in Bad Moon Rising. Because it was just
Jackson. I gotta say this, Jackson. I don't want to be that guy that I said I told you so, but guess what? I told you Texas, the bad Texas, was going to show up eventually.
I said that it didn't matter whether Texas won or lost against Georgia on Wednesday. I said that Texas doesn't necessarily have to make the SEC title game to prove that they are a national title team.
They didn't look like it tonight. See, Jackson, this is what happens when you play someone with a pulse and on your level.
Well, I can just tell you right now.
I'm just saying, Jackson. You've told me all year Texas is one of your picks to win the Natty, and I told you. I said you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
The year is
and you're
not
like, oh,
over. The year's not over yet. The year is not over yet. Just because you're not unbeaten does not mean you're going to be god awful.
See, in Troy V, even Texas' best win is Michigan, and that's a bad win right now because Michigan is awful.
That's fair. But still, though, it's like Quinn Ewers and the Longhorns, I believe they can get it done in the playoffs.
Hold on, Jackson. Troy V, are you with you bringing that up? You're not insinuating that Texas could miss the playoffs, are you? Is that why you bring that up? Because if it is, I can't wait to have that debate with Jackson.
I'll if Texas were to miss the playoffs, which that's not going to happen, I'll just be like, well, okay, got me there.
Let, let, let's be honest, Jackson. Is there a world where they could miss the playoffs? Like, I'm being dead serious. Like,
They would
is there
have
a
to
world where they?
lose 2 more games, but that is not gonna happen. I mean, like, the only game they could possibly lose is, like, the SEC title game, but if we're looking at the regular season, maybe, like, Texas A&M, but that's about it. I mean, I don't see them going down against Vanderbilt or Florida, Arkansas, or Kentucky. Texas
Okay,
A&M
so he brings.
like,
No, go
Texas
ahead,
A&M
buddy.
can be that team that can, that they could probably be they'd probably be the most likely team to give them a second loss, although I don't see that happening, but stranger things have happened in all college football.
Okay, Jackson. The reason why he brought that up, Troy V says, "No, I'm just saying, let's not crown them yet. They haven't proven a darn thing." I'm not crowning them. I don't think they're for real. Jackson over here has been on the hype train from the start. I'm still not a believer in Texas,
Twin Ewers can
even
win
with
on the
their
road. He can win on the road.
because Jackson. I'm still not a believer, and I even said this Wednesday because you kept telling me, "Oh, this game doesn't matter. This game doesn't matter." Oh, yes, it does, Jackson. It matters a whole heck of a lot because now they don't control their own destiny. Their
They don't
destiny
control
is in
their own
Georgia's hand,
destiny as a top 4 team.
but they don't control their own destiny to the SEC either, good buddy. Because now they need Georgia to lose. Because let's just say, for instance, LSU goes undefeated in conference play, and it's Georgia, Texas. Georgia gets the tiebreaker.
Wow. I mean, let's just see how LSU does the rest of the regular season. But I mean, Texas will still make the playoffs. Like, Texas has to win out. They're good to go.
Jackson, because here's the thing, too, Jackson. For seeding purposes, Jackson, they could be going on the road. And I know we had this argument Wednesday, but I'm going to have this argument with you again.
I
I don't
know.
think Texas can win a I don't think Texas can win a playoff game on the road. I really
Well,
don't,
you
especially
doubted
cold weather
Texas.
game.
You doubted them last year. You doubted them in their ability to win the Big 12 in their final year in the Big 12. What did they do? They won the Big 12 in their
I give them
final year.
I give them credit, but then what they do against Washington, they laid an egg. Like I thought they would.
I wouldn't exactly call losing a tight game laying an egg. I mean, laying an egg is losing 38-10. Losing a tight
No,
one
no,
is
no.
not
Did you
laying an
watch
egg. It's coming up short.
Jackson? I know you watched the game. You can't tell me you ever thought Texas had a shot to win that.
That was
I'm
a
sticking to that.
toss-up. It was a friggin' toss-up.
No, it wasn't. Jackson, Washington had that game, and then they let their foot off the gas and gave Texas the
Oh,
the
yeah.
hope
That's
spot.
true. Oh, yeah. There was a shootout
But
between Ewers and Penance.
I feel like honestly, Washington really could have throttled them if they wanted to. But they let their foot off the gas. But I'm just saying this though, Jackson. If Texas has to go to a cold place like Utah or go somewhere there, it could smell trouble for them. Because
yeah.
Jackson, they've never played it at. They've never really had to play at altitude. How do you think they would handle that?
That's true.
Probably
I
not.
mean, they could get it done. I mean, I'm sure they could get it done in cold. I mean, it's not gonna matter whether if it's hot weather or cold weather. That's not gonna stop them. Coach Sart's gonna have them motivated.
So Jackson, you feel like that the cold weather would not bother them. You feel like that's just a myth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we see in the NFL, Jackson, like Jared Goff and like Jimmy Garoppolo's, like if they don't play in a dome and they play outside in the cold, they don't look very good. And Jackson, even College Game Day has even brought this up. They feel like Texas, if they have to go play a cold weather team, Coach Saban even said, I don't know that they could win in a cold weather environment. And he said that a couple weeks ago. Like, and that's Coach Saban saying that. That's just not me saying that.
That's fair.
I think it's worse for a cold weather team to play somewhere with a lot of heat and humidity than in the winter. That is true, yeah. Yeah, because if you're used to the cold, that's a good point.
But yeah,
Like Utah, if they were.
Yeah, now that I really think about it, it's the SEC title race. It's hard to believe Texas A&M
Vandy's
really
still in it.
controls. Can't believe Texas A&M controls their own destiny. Like, my God.
Jackson, your worst nightmares happening in front of your eyes. LSU and A&M both control their destiny.
That's pathetic. I mean, that is pathetic.
Jackson's gonna have nightmares
about
that.
Right. I'll be all right, but it would be not. But it would be nice to have a Texas A&M SEC title game rematch. Because I mean, we went 12 years without Texas A&M. Why not have it on rivalry week and on conference title week? It's like an early Christmas present.
Jackson, don't you put that out there. You stop it. Nobody wants to see that.
I want to see it. I have sobbed like a baby about Texas A&M not playing. I have like sobbed, ate ice cream just thinking about it. No, not really. But in all seriousness, though, I really want to see Texas A&M playing each other for a second.
No.
Yes.
No, Jackson. Jackson, the real conference title game you want to see is LSU Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Nah, we don't want to see LSU Vanderbilt. But that's on the week before rivalry week.
Jackson, that's a perfect conference title game. But in all seriousness, but it is crazy though, Jackson, that Vanderbilt's actually in the race. Probably won't be for long, but they're there.
Oh yeah, Texas will beat them next week.
Jackson, don't jinx them. We thought that about your Crimson Tide would happen.
I know that. It's like that was a cinch, but somebody forgot to tell that to Vanderbilt, which good point. You know, Clark Lee's doing a fantastic job over at Vandy.
Jackson, you want to talk about a playoff team? Be honest, Jackson. Vanderbilt goes 9-3 with wins over Bama and Texas. Who says no to them?
Well, there is one problem. Their loss against Georgia State.
Oh, yeah. Darn it, Andy. You ruined a good Cinderella story. Dang it.
Well, and Georgia State's 2-4 so far in the regular season. They haven't done anything since they beat Vandy. I mean, I'm sure their coach at Georgia State was like, "Oh, shit, gotta make a call on Dan Patrick. Hey, does Bill Maher take college football coaches? Does he take college football coaches? No, okay, yeah, because I gotta promote the heck out of Georgia State. Like, okay." Meanwhile, Georgia State has lost their third straight regular season game of the season. It's like, yep, that's what we thought.
Jackson, it's kind of crazy that Indiana and Vanderbilt are in playoff conversations. Isn't that kind of crazy?
And
it's 2007 all over again.
2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. just thinking about what's going to happen. It's like, what's this thing called sleep? Exactly. Like, is there such thing called sleep?
But I will say though, Jackson, the Dogs are back. The Dogs got it done. People wrote them off. They didn't write back.
Like I literally picked Georgia to win that one on Wednesday.
We both did. but a lot of the media did. I don't know if you saw Kirby Smart's interview after the game, Jackson, but oh gosh, that was pitiful. Utah is pitiful, pitiful. But anywho, we'll get to them in just a second. Golly. But Kirby Smart's like, we had the officials against us. You all doubted us. And everyone in the national media says Georgia is done. And he's like, we're just getting started. Did you see that, Jackson?
Yeah.
Where he went on his Ryan Day venting session. And that poor reporter was like just sitting there like she was like, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. That happened, yeah.
Hey, Jackson, I feel bad for those reporters because they're just sitting there trying to do their job, and these coaches are going on their ranting sessions.
Oh yeah. It's like we don't need that.
But at Utah, Jackson, I think it's safe to say Utah's dreams of making the Big 12 title are officially dashed.
Yeah. Cam Rising getting hurt yet again has hurt Utah. But huge win for TCU. And a matter of fact, huge win for our buddy Clint Foster, who is debuting his new show. He has debuted the TCU postgame show on Big 12 at the Boys College Football. So that's a huge win for our friend Clint Foster. Thank you. Oh man, that's an awesome win for our buddy. And I've got a feeling like he's got an upcoming show coming up with, well, we don't know what's going to be, but he's quite a busy man on the Voice College Football for sure, especially on the Big 12 side of things. But
and then
UNLV.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Making a run.
They survived.
Oh yeah. You know, I just got to thinking about this one. UNLV Boise State will be on next Friday on CBS Sports Network.
10:30 at night. Who's staying up and watching that?
Me. I'm a sicko.
I was about to say we're all sickos. We'll be up till 4 a.m. if they need us to.
Yep.
Well, Jackson, I don't got any plans. I don't got any plans Friday night. Do you?
Not set to watch USC, Rutgers, Boise State, UNLV, and let me see. There's another one that I'm leaving out by accident.
BC Louisville.
Yep, BC Louisville. Yep, there's your boys at Louisville. Man. Oh yeah, Thursday night will be Syracuse Pitt.
That's a pivotal game in the ACC right there. Like we'll get to that Wednesday though.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead with what you gonna say, Jackson.
That's gonna be an exciting one. But like, how are we feeling about Oregon State though? It's like 4-3 in the 2-pack. Next week is Cal. I mean, my God.
They can win that.
Well, yeah, anybody can beat Cal.
Don't get me started on Cal again, Jackson. Don't you disrespect the Bear.
A freaking baby can beat Cal. Bonk him on the head with a bottle.
Oh, no. No, sir, Jackson. We are not going to do that. There will be no disrespect to our brothers in Cal. The band is on the field.
Oh my God. Oh man, that is so funny. It's like backstory, like what one night we got in a debate whether Liberty Virginia Tech was a better game or if it was Cal Stanford the week before rivalry week for 2022. That was oh my God, that was like a huge debate. And like our friend Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports, he was like the mediator. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this. Like we all stay up till 4 a.m. figuring out which one's better. And oh my god, like that was it was a memorable night. And and which brings me to a friend of ours, speaking of which, for those that watched West Virginia, the voice of college football, our buddy, our friend Joey Foster is going through some things health wise, and he explains it. He explains it in the last video that he makes for West Virginia, the voice of college football. But a mutual friend of ours, Friction Vitson, has made a GoFundMe for Joey and Vivette and the family, to help out with health problems. I know I've donated some money. Like I'm decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna donate, my salary. I mean, I don't have much, but I mean, I'll donate $50 a month to Joe, because like, you know, without Joey, I know you and I would not be talking with each other. We wouldn't even know who each other was, Austin. And I know that he introduced me to Will, and in turn, like after I got introduced to Will, I got introduced to you. And afterwards, he had Will introduce me to Jeffrey, and he had Will introduce Jeffrey to me. What's your Joey backstory, Austin?
Mine, to be honest with you, Jackson, I mean, I met you through Ty Guy, but a lot of that though is from Joey, though. Yes, because Joey introduced me to Ty Guy, and then Ty Guy in return introduced me to Will and company, and Ty Guy was like, "Do the show with Jackson, Jeffrey, and you all can be called the Young Guns." So Joey is like the one that started the string of it, and here we are. And Jackson, I just met you on a random after dark.
Yeah, and in conclusion, like I put out this link, the GoFundMe link that the mutual friend of ours, Fritz and Vitson, have created. She has set it up, and any amount helps Joey, Vivette, and the rest of the family. Any amount would be huge. And Joey, has done a lot for people like us, and he does so much for the YouTube community. He does so much for people like Traveling Fools and the voice of college football. And so many countless people that I can't even think of at the top of my head. There is so many people. It's
I want to clarify something, Jackson. If you all don't like have the money or don't want to donate or nothing of that, you don't have to. I don't want you to feel like Jackson is pressuring you, because I don't like make that clear. We're not pressuring you. Like Jackson's not gonna force you. He's just putting it out there. If you would like to donate, awesome. If not, that's cool too. But we're not pressuring you. We're just letting you know what the situation is, what's going on. No, in no word away do you have to donate. Don't have to. We're not forcing you to. Like, we understand times are tough in the economy, and not everybody can donate, which is fine, which is cool. Just make sure you send your thoughts and prayers, and make sure you tell Joey thank you if you've had any interactions with him. It's the small things.
Exactly.
Go ahead, buddy.
Exactly. And it's do whatever you can. That's all I ask. It's it's like,
all we ask is you just keep Joey in your thoughts and prayers. And if you donate a little bit, great. If not, no pressure. But
yeah, it's
no pressure.
yeah. But on a lighter note, got some exciting things coming up.
Oh yes,
Especially
that's right. Hold on, Jack. Hold on, Jackson. Let me promote you. Let me get you set up. I got to do this. So, we know Jackson. He's a very busy man. He's got 6 different titles too. But here's the thing. I love you, Jeff Jackson, but people don't want to hear you yik yak about Alabama. They need to hear you yik yak about Alabama when they lose. That's great for business. No one wants to hear Alabama when you win. I mean, you're obnoxious. I mean, over here champagning and get your dog Bear and parading him around. I mean, Jackson, if I didn't know any better, you and Kurt Herbstreit. Golly. But you know what, Jackson? That's okay. I love you anyway. But
all good.
you if you are an Alabama hater and you like seeing Jackson upset, which that's a very twisted thing. But if you like seeing Alabama losing and you like seeing Bama fans upset, go check out the Alabama post game from today with Jackson and Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports because they were very upset people today. You'll love it.
Oh yeah.
You'll love it. And and if you want to hear Jackson and Johnny Burks have a venting session, especially if you're an Auburn fan, I know you love when they lose. You can find them Mondays at 6:30, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. I don't know why I said 30. 30. You can find them on Mondays at that time, and it's Missouri week. It ought to be fun. But go ahead, Jackson.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I've got the 9th edition of Crimson Tide Live set up, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a bit of a it's we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if we're gonna be a playoff team, but although this year it's just not looking like it. And I'm just like I kind of want to think about 2025. To be honest, I'm just like thinking about 2025, but get through the rest of 2024. But of course, yeah, Thursday, Jeffrey and I host the Alabama call-in show, and that's always a wild one. Oh, that's the second one. Let me, yeah, that was a great one right there. It was a wild one.
Well, Jackson, it says call in live 3. Get it in order, Jackson. Golly.
I know. It's like, good Lord. I don't know what's wrong with me. So sorry
that says 3, Jackson.
I know.
That says free. Golly, Jackson. Not only are you an Alabama fan, but you don't know how to count either. I don't know why these people like you. I know why, because you're charming.
I mean, we had a Vols person coming in going, "Go Vols!" He called himself Saban Lover. But I mean, it was funny though.
Oh gosh! How can you be a Saban lover and a Go Vol? I don't even want to know. But go ahead.
He was coming in to troll us, have some fun with us. But I mean, I will say though, he's welcome to have some more fun with us on next Thursday night for sure. And
Jackson,
I don't have any
Jack Sony
episodes. I don't have any Jack Sony episodes lined up yet, but I've got some work. I've got some things in the works for sure. And some point I'm definitely going to be putting out a post of who would you like to see come on Jack Sony and this, that, and the other. You'll definitely see that on X, on Jackson BOCFB, and on Jackson Johnson 543908 on Instagram and Threads. I'll tell you right now, it's always a wild ride. And on Jackson Johnson 979, I'm 122 subs away from that magic number 500. So it's I'm hoping to get there before at least the end of the year. Hoping to get the 1,000 subs, so that'd be cool.
Yeah. And once you do, Jackson, Jackson, I'll be your business manager. I'll take care of everything. Me and Bear. Me and your dog Bear, we'll be your business managers. I'll get you deals with Adidas and Nike. We'll get you pimping. Get you sideline tickets with Matthew McConaughey. Hang out down there with him. I mean, Jackson, I'll get you set up nice.
Well, we got to tell the friends, family, and the frenemies and the cashiers at Publix about us, of course. So that's the plan there.
Well, Jackson, if you're friends with Matthew McConaughey, he'll do that for you. I mean, that'll take care of itself. But, yes, go check out Jackson on YouTube. The sooner we get him there, the faster we get him on the sideline with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. And Austin, what have you got planned out?
So you can find me on YouTube with Sports Talk with Austin 2002. Find me on X, Austin W1980 2639. Just same old stuff I always do, Jackson. Be posting videos throughout the week. Be doing my 2 shows with you. And just living life to the fullest. Looking forward to next weekend. Can't wait. Oh, can't wait to see where College Game Day is going to go. See if they go to Notre Dame Navy, if they go to Nebraska Ohio State, or if they go to LSU Texas A&M, go to Bama Missouri.
Duke SMU.
Duke SMU.
Mm-hmm.
They could. They could. Wouldn't that be a shocker to end all shockers? Holy crap. But that's where you can find me. That's where you can find me. And Jackson, the whistle is sounded. That means the conversation's over. And yes, you in the chat, stop arguing about Ohio State and Alabama. You both suck. We know that LSU's going to win it all. Right here. You heard it first. Jackson, stop arguing with them. Gosh. I'm going to cut your pay if you continue. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find Jackson.
Oh man, that's gonna be a wild ride, and tune in for more of these conversations, debates, and analysis next Wednesday and next Saturday. Because I'll tell you right now, it'll be a wild ride. And for that, we wish you all a good night. Sleep well.
Wait. Hold on, Jackson. Before they do all that, they got to do something for us before they leave. I apologize. Where are my manners? First off, I need to thank everyone for being here. All 39 of you, even up to almost 50 of y'all. Y'all are crazy just like we are for this. We thank y'all for being here. But more importantly, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button for us. Helps out the algorithm. Lets YouTube know we're doing a good job. I mean, personally, if you want to like it, cool. If you want to share it, that's fine. But YouTube, they need to know that. And plus, that's how we're going to get Jackson with Matthew McConaughey. That way YouTube could send him free tickets. Like, that's going to be my life mission, guys. The faster we get Jackson to 500 is the faster we can get him on that Texas sideline with Matthew McConaughey. And they could be chilling and talking about the good old days and going, hey, hey, hey. But
all right.
Then, though, yeah, not hey, hey. All right. Thank you, Jackson. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Love y'all to death. Both our teams came up short today, but we made it anyway. We didn't run from it. We're here. But like Jackson said, stay safe, stay warm, or stay cool if you're out towards the desert in California. But if you're near our region, stay warm, stay safe. It's cold out. Go Cards, everybody.
Roll
See you
Tide.
Wednesday.